Okay, we are live. Hey, you guys in the chat. There's a lot of y'all in here already. You see him, Bree? Bree, are you there? Did I lose you, girl? Or are you on mute? Okay,
I'm
well,
right here.
oh, there you are. I couldn't
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying I'm looking at the people online. Hi, guys.
Yeah, they jumped in there and got to having a conversation. There was a super chat, and I'm going to go ahead and mention that. Thank you, Tommy. Where he says, Kyle,
Oh,
look.
thank you, Tommy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I said thank you, Tommy.
Mm-hmm. It said
Okay.
Kyle looked like Maxwell Sheffield. Not look him up. They look a lot. I don't know if there was some typos in there. Not look him up. They looks alike.
I
Okay.
like.
Yeah, not Johnny Bravo. I promise you, Bree. Keep up the good work, and you're doing a good job. Thank you very, very much for the super chat. And
Thank you, Tommy.
yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So Keish got to work early. She got to be up early, early, early. So she's gonna sit this one out. So it's me and you today, girl.
No worries. Just me and you. Okay.
All right, and then before we get started, I just want to send up prayers, well wishes to everybody in LA. Um, the Grand, what is it, Grand Palisades? I think it's called.
I believe so. A
Yeah,
lot of people, just devastating.
yeah. Eric Braden lost his home, so they had
And
him on
I think
CNN.
Jennifer Garris.
Yeah, a lot of the movie stars that lived in those specific areas, a lot of them either had a lot of damage or they lost their homes completely. So, hopefully, they can bounce back. But, sending prayers to everybody over in the LA County, and, hope everybody got their families together and things like that. I mean, that is insane. The pictures and the videos and all the different things.
It's getting a lot of coverage in the news. That's very devastating. Prayers to all the families, and I couldn't imagine being at a predicament, because once you lose your home, you lose your home,
Right.
and to rebuild from that that's hard. Whether you're a movie star or celebrity or not, that's especially if you had like kids and like they grew up in that home. That's hard. It's devastating.
Right.
So prayers.
Yep. Yep. I agree. And, especially when you lose all of the important things in the home, like maybe, items that was passed down through generations and things like that. It's not just the house, it's also the things in it too, especially if there was really special things that you can probably never get back because it was one of one. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah.
But as long as you have your life, that's what really matters. Your
Mm-hmm.
things can be replaced, but your life is a whole other thing.
Right. Exactly. So, again, sending out all well wishes and prayers to everybody out there, including some of our favorite stars on the soaps. So, all
Yeah.
right. Welcome, you guys, to Soap Corner Talk, where today Bree and I will recap both The Young and Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful for the week of January the 6th through January the 10th. And I don't know, there's parts of Y&R, and I haven't, I'm assuming you might have seen Monday's episode. I have not.
I haven't yet.
Yeah, okay. Well, the thing is that there's sometimes I get so excited because, I get caught up in what's going on with this Ian storyline, and then they kind of flatten out. And it's like, okay. Because one of the episodes this week for Y&R was absolutely boring. And I think it might have
I
been
feel like what
Wednesday's
the Lily
episode.
episode.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I don't know. it was just nothing there, and I'm like, dang, it's just interesting how they, we have some good days where it's like today's episode was pretty interesting, right? But I think it was either
Yeah.
yesterday or maybe it was Wednesday. It's either yesterday or Wednesday, and I was like, okay, this is all you got?
Yeah. I feel like both soaps were moving kind of slow.
Yeah.
In my opinion, even though we had like some new characters that entered the scene on both shows, it was still kind of slow. In my opinion, I feel like we get like little nuggets that we like, and then the rest of the episode is kind of wah wah.
Belinda Hill says she watched Monday episode and nothing exciting.
Thank you. So I know I can clean and have that play in the background. Thank you.
Even Jenna, yeah, and I agree with Jenna on that. The episode to go meet Damian was terrible because the majority of the episode was nothing. Damian didn't come in until the last 2 minutes.
Right. I'm like, I thought we were going to get a little bit like extra. I mean, granted, he was worth the wait. Very, very delicious looking man, but we had to like get through all of like the Lily stuff, the Vaughn stuff, and maybe we should trust him, maybe we shouldn't trust him. And I'm like, then we get Damian, and he had like these couple of lines. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll break it all down. I could have been laundry. Yeah. We'll break it all down. So normally, you guys, if you are new in the chat, first of all, make sure you hit the like button. Second of all, make sure you subscribe. I got a lot of new subscribers because one of my Bold and the Beautiful episodes went viral and almost got 50,000 views. So,
congrats.
Yeah, it hit the front page of Google. So it attracted, the one where Brooke slapped him. That recap. That one went so far that it made to the first page of Google, and so it got a lot of attention. So I appreciate all of you, especially if you are new here, even coming in through that particular video. Welcome. We have a lot of fun over here. We do weekly chats every Friday night, 7 o'clock Central, which is 8 Eastern Time. And then I do spoilers. I also do daily recaps as well. And then occasionally we do some fun stuff. I got to get with you, Bree, so we can plan a trivia night again, because the last one we did last year was so much fun. So we're going to have to plan one for this year as well.
Sounds good. Yay. Yeah. Welcome, guys.
And then normally we do, after Young and the Restless, we do Bold and the Beautiful. And then we have 4 other segments: Flip the Script, Who's Taking Several Seats, our Star of the Week, our Pickle of the Week, and the Simp Olympics. So we do a lot of fun stuff over here. Oh, thank you, TA. I am so glad that you enjoy the recaps. All right, so enough of all of the small talk. Let's go ahead and we're going to unpack the Young and the Restless for this week. So let me do the summary. Give me 1 second. And let's see. Here we go. Young and the Restless. Okay, so for the week of January 6th through the 10th, Victor and Nick threatens a very cocky Ian Ward, and Jordan hides Sharon. Billy questions Phyllis about Sharon, and Mariah threatens to kill Ian. Billy has a proposal for Lily, and Nate meets Damian. Sharon, let me close that out. Okay, Sharon conjures up Cameron, and Nick threatens Ian. And then Abby stands up to Ian, and Claire gets a shock at Crimson Lights. Where do you want to start?
Well, I guess since we brought up the Damian and Lily Devon episode, we can get that out the way, because that was just, we can wrap it up in a couple of minutes. So I'm glad that Lily is, for one, I'm happy that she's happy to work with her family, because we've been asking this lady for months, like, go work with your people. The fact that Devon was begging for her to come back, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I guess I'll go work with you guys. And I'm like, you should be grateful. But she's coming into her own. She's, has all these ideas and yada, yada, yada. Then they talk about Damian. She didn't like the fact that Nate wanted to try to offer him a position, and the fact that Devon was okay to go with it. I'm not understanding why. I mean, if he meets the qualifications and he's family, I mean, if anything, you can hold that over Nate's head as a hire. But at the same time, that's Devon's company still.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to do what he wants. And she kind of just needs to get with the program. But that was pretty much all she really had to say. It's like, should we trust him? Like, after what Nate did, can we really trust people? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I'm like, lady, just be happy with your position that you got right now.
Right.
Just be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that because it's like, well, first of all, let me just give my opinion on that. That episode was absolutely boring to me. If I had to grade it from a 1 to a 10, I gave it a 2. And the only reason I gave it a 2 because Damian came in the last 2 minutes. But the rest of it, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, they did a whole episode pretty much of them having a round table discussion about why Devon is letting Nate use Winters as a way to lure Damian in. Okay. And then we also had that conversation where Chelsea was giving unsolicited advice. That also happened in that episode. And then he ran into Lily afterwards. So it was like him running into his exes or something. And I'm like, where's Damian?
Right. And I mean, he's fashionably late, but we still appreciate what we saw.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm happy at least that Lily is off of this like revenge train, and she's like, look, I'm working with my family, I'm gonna let things be. And they put that to rest, which I was happy about.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea was whining per usual, but even she was like, hey, you need to stop what you're doing and let's focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on yourself. And that was pretty much it with the Billy scenes. But then when we got to the Damian part, he looked,
yeah, I know.
Oof. Like, we couldn't get like at least 15 minutes. Like, even if it was just back and forth and him being skeptical about the position. Like, the first introduction, why are you guys just teasing us with just 2 minutes for that episode?
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, that's not a man you keep on the back burner. That's a delicious looking man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I was just like, you held us watching this all the way to the end, and you give us 2 minutes. Well, I mean,
maybe they wanted to see if we were serious.
What'd you say?
Maybe they wanted to see if we were serious.
I guess. And then they did the next episode, had a whole thing with Nate. I just think that the way that they're bringing this guy into the situation is stupid to me. This whole thing about creating a fake job. Because you're going to have to stand up on it. I mean, are they actually going to give this man a real true job? Because the purpose of this whole meeting is to tell him about his mama and the fact that he is his brother, which is why Audra was like, listen, none of what you're doing makes sense. And so she didn't say these exact words, but in so many words, it was like, none of what you're saying makes sense. So that's why he's acting skeptical. So maybe you should just come out and tell him the truth.
You know what? They are doing a complete, like, who is this lady? Who is Audra now? Like, they just completely that brand new characterization. They really are working on making her more relatable, more likable. We loved her for who she was, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a different type of Audra, and she's making sense
Right.
of things.
But I
This
mean,
is
she
this.
does make sense because none of this makes. Listen, unless he put his resume out there somewhere on LinkedIn or something, you come all the way from Wisconsin, supposedly, to come all the way to LA, which obviously
Yeah.
the job market is huge than Wisconsin. No shade to the Wisconsinites and the cheeseheads. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, it's like, I would be skeptical too. He was like, wait a minute. Are you scamming me? Because I didn't ask for no job. I didn't even put my resume out. But you found me. You flew all the way here to offer me something that I had no clue that I was even interested in.
Yeah.
I don't like how they I don't know. I just think it was another way to create dialogue that they could have used to kind of bring the character in. You know what I mean?
You know what would have helped? Would it have been beneficial
Mm.
if his mother actually showed up to the meeting? I think there, because if the purpose is to try to provide him that information about what was going on with his mom and the fact that Nate's his brother, who his real dad is, the mother really needed to be there because, much to like Audra's point, they're already starting off on the wrong foot with a lie.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, it's and what's the man's name? Damian. Damian already is kind of always going to be on guard because he goes from job to job and goes from place to place. So as soon as he senses something, they risk of him like just dipping out of town and never hearing from it again.
Mm-hmm.
So much to Audra's point, she's right. You might as well just come out with the truth. And the person who needs to start off with the truth would be his mother.
Right. Right. Thank you, Mari, for the super chat. She says, Happy New Year's, Miss T and Bree. Love you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. I know you're in California. I hope you're okay over there.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope you guys are good, Mari, because I think she posted that. Listen, Belinda said, y'all, it's frigid cold in Genoa City. Tell me why Sharon isn't suffering from hypothermia locked in a basement, sitting on a concrete floor with no coat or blanket to her summer keep her warm in her summer outfit. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that. And I'm thinking that the writers were banking on that.
Yeah, they were banking on the fact that we weren't going to pay attention
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that we were just going to ignore what we see on our screen, and we're not. We're soapies, we catch everything.
Yeah.
But Belinda makes a very valid point. Like,
I mean, think
makeup's
about
still
it.
perfect, hair is still perfect.
Girl, listen, it is, and I mean, I'm in the Midwest myself. So, and I ain't that
Mm-hmm.
far from, I'm probably a good hour away from the Wisconsin border. And I mean, it's 27 right now, but without a coat locked
Oh,
in the,
gosh.
yeah, I mean, it was like, what, overnight it's in the teens. So I could imagine why
Oh,
Belinda was
wow.
saying what she was saying because it just, that part didn't make, she should be freezing down in that cellar, in that whatever basement or whatever that place is.
Sewer.
Sewer. Oh, that's even worse.
Was it a sewer or basement? Yeah. And I'm like, the makeup's not to, because keep in mind, before she was in the sewer, she was in that hotel room, just laying on the bed and tied up.
You know what? Did you notice what she said
So,
to Cameron? Bree.
what did she say?
She said, I woke up in a bed. I'm like, how would you know that? Because what we saw is her being sleeped at the hotel, and she was
Uh-huh.
drugged when Jordan hooked, clamped her to that pipe with that handcuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, when did you wake up? Then she was like, last thing I remember waking up on the bed. And I'm like, when? They ain't show us that.
Right. And if you woke up and you realized you were out of place, and
Mm-hmm.
why didn't you make any noise or fight
Fight.
Jordan off, as little as she is? Like, how are you? See, this is where they. I wish they had like a screening, a review screening before they show the episodes. Like if they got like a few of our soapies and we watch and we catch this, like
Mm-hmm.
we would help, with like catching these little nuances right here. Because how would she, if she was knocked out with chloroform, there's no way she would have any recollection where she was.
Mm-hmm.
None. Because if she knew she was on the bed, then means that she probably heard voices. She probably would have recognized either Ian or Jordan's voice too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
that part didn't make
lost.
sense because when I saw that, I'm like, then you didn't try, you woke up. Did you wake up?
Yep.
That's what she said to the Cameron dream or whatever. That I remember waking up in the bed and then now I'm here. And I'm like, that would have been your opportunity to scream, call for help, throw something, but they didn't even show any of that.
No, and apparently Jordan is Hercules. She's Xena. This woman is Wonder Woman. She is strong to pick up this fully grown individual because Jordan is like my height. She's teeny tiny,
I don't know
but she's
who is
able to take
taller,
all these
her
people down.
who is taller, her or
Oh,
Taylor?
Sharon. I mean, either which way, I'm like, Sharon could have at least, like, if she probably still, but didn't she still have heels on? She could have kicked. I mean, heels are a weapon too.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, this just didn't make any sense. And exactly, like, there's like she should be freezing cold, hypothermia or something. Like she's just perfectly fine. Makeup, hair's not touched, nothing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was just a weird thing. I'll just say that. I don't know. There's parts of the storyline I'm enjoying, and then there's other parts that got holes in it. So you know
You know what
what?
I don't?
Go ahead, Bree. Hold on
I'm
one.
still seeing this.
Dang it! Can you give me? Oh, that's my son calling. Hold on 1 second, and I have to take this because he's bringing my car
I
home.
got you.
Give me
Oh,
one.
yay! Okay, at the Soapy. So go Soapy. Where are you guys at? Live chat. Like what state? What city? What state? I'm here in Orlando, Florida. Cannot complain whatsoever with the weather, but you got up north where this storm that just came in. You stay warm, but where are you guys? City and state. City and state. I was really surprised by the weather out here. It started off pretty 30 or 40 something degrees, and then it went up to 70. But it's typical Florida weather. That's why we now out of so we're busy most of the time. Okay, Black Pygmies in Milwaukee was in Ohio, and she said it's snowing. You're in Canada. Oh, wow. Where in Canada? Nice. Okay, and Bridget Jackson in Lake Providence, Louisiana. Was the Spencers in Marysville, California, Northern California. Be careful.
Okay, I'm back,
We got
Bree.
in Atlanta.
Okay. Sorry about that, you guys.
And
I'm
Miss
back.
T is there.
Okay, yeah.
They
Cause
were
see,
seeing everybody's from.
oh, your phone is like okay, cause I can hear. Can Maybe I had to
Yeah, I
change.
can hear you.
Okay, now you sound better. You're clearer now. Maybe it was something with my phone. But yes, finally after 6 weeks my car is on the way home. And the thing
Yay!
is that out of all of the days this week that it's been absolutely clear, because the other big snowstorm kind of went to the south of us, now it had to snow. And so he was telling me in the part that he was in coming out of Minnesota that the streets were bad. And so I was kind of freaking out a little bit before we jumped on. And so when he called me again, he said where he is now that the roads are a lot better. So, okay.
That's good. Thank goodness I'm getting the car back. You went through so much.
Oh, God, girl, it's been 6 weeks. It's been the day after Thanksgiving. That's how long it's been. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Well, thankfully, they got that taken care of. I was talking with the Soapies, trying to see where they were join us from. Some of them are up there in the north where it's cold and snowing and everything. And I it looks like I'm the only cheese that stands alone here in Florida.
Oh, man. Don't rub it in, okay? Don't rub it in.
I'm not rubbing it in. I was telling them like we just have weird weather. It
Okay.
was 40 something degrees this morning, and then it got up to about 70 degrees.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's just weird.
Jenna said, you know it's cold when we freeze in the deep south. One of my friends down in Texas, they were saying that it got down to like 13 down there. And I'm like, holy crap.
Yes, and snowing. I was like, wow, my goodness. Stay warm, you guys. Stay
Yeah.
warm. People in Kentucky and Oakland, California, Louisville, Kentucky, like everybody.
Yep.
Thank you guys for joining us.
All right.
Boston, oh yes. Sandra?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cold in the Northeast too. Okay, so let's get back on track. So we were talking about the whole Sharon thing. And how that whole thing was kind of backwards because one moment, all we saw her was sleeping and knocked out and drugged.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing after she wake up, she tells Cameron that, oh yeah, I remember waking up on a bed. I'm like, okay, writers, whatever. But anyway, we got Cameron Kirsten back.
And his shirt.
And his shirt. And he got PTSD from seeing his blood at the bottom of that sewer. And I'm trying to remember when, what was that, 2023, when Sharon took out Cameron, was it in that same spot?
I thought it was like in a warehouse because didn't he keep like Faith hostage or something?
Right, but he was like, dang, is that my blood right there? And I'm like, wait a minute, was this the same place where somebody in the chat, let me know if you guys can maybe clear this up for me. Was it the same space that Cameron Kirsten, was taken out by Sharon?
Mm-hmm. You're in Jamaica, Angela? My goodness. Enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of weird. Now, I got to give it to Lyndon Ashby for trying to give us a little comic relief down there. Because some things he was like, I was cracking up. Because I'm like, he funny. But
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, like, why did he reappear if she's on the right medication and shouldn't she like be thinking clearly? Why is he popping up? Because I thought he only popped up when she was like out, not in her right mind.
Yeah, so apparently Sharon has been without her meds since she's been kidnapped. So it's kind of like if you have been consistently taking your, I'm just going to make up something, blood pressure medication, and then you skip several doses, guess what's going to happen? Your blood pressure going to spike again. So what's happening is that, number one, she got other drugs in her system because she was chloroformed. And number two, she hasn't been able to take her medication in the past, 2 or 3 days since New Year's. So she's been off her regular meds, which is why now she's seeing Cameron again.
Wow. I
Mm.
mean, so if she goes without her med, she starts seeing people again. So does that mean that she would start, causing chaos or have like those bad thoughts to like want to harm people again too? That's what I'm.
I just think
So
that
then it's not
once,
just a PCP.
well, I think, well, I think the PCP intensified it. Because she was, before the
Okay.
whole thing with Heather, she was seeing Cassie and Cameron. And then when you add
Mm-hmm.
in the PCP, now you got in the whole thing with killing Heather and dumping body and setting up folks and, being, she tried to hide her guilt with a straight face to in front of the rest of the world, and how she talked to Daniel. So I just think that not only was her meds jacked up, but it intensified her issues after a certain point. So yeah, that's what I thought, Mari. But I was wondering if she,
Oh,
what?
Jess Myra said she thought that Sharon took Cameron out underneath the Newman Ranch. He created a tunnel underneath the house.
Yeah,
That
he
is
did.
true.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what they were trying to say with him saying, "Dang, is my blood there? I'm getting PTSD," and I'm thinking like, okay, because that's what I thought. That's how they found that
Mm-hmm.
tunnel because he was under there. But
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know what they did. Girl, they always trying to throw a loosey goosey situation where we got to try to figure it out. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Same way we will never get an answer about that octopus
yeah. Well, I think we will,
that
and
they.
I honestly think that Jordan took that octopus and hit Heather with it because she got bashed in
Mm,
the head. The question, and we know with what. If the question was who did it, and now we know who did it, which was Jordan.
mm, mm. Jordan tired of doing all the leg work for Ian. I've noticed.
Well, I mean, I don't know what she expected. He's manipulative and evil. Just you can't put two evil people and think they're gonna work together. You all
Right.
out for selfish gain. Now, I think maybe Jordan was more than happy. She was a little bit more open than Ian was. But at the end of the day, she should have realized that Ian was going to take care of his business first. He don't care about
Oh
what.
well, they both.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that they both handled each other's business, and maybe he thought that was gonna pacify her a little bit.
Well, that girl, you so silly. But the thing is, he has done absolutely nothing when it comes to Claire. Nothing. Jordan has been doing
He's
all.
done absolutely nothing
Nope.
in general.
Well, except antagonize and push his own agenda. Because part of that, him
Yep.
having an alibi, was that whole conversation and, what happened with Tessa at Society. That was his plan to cover up what he wanted to do with Sharon, to get to Mariah, which to me, we talked about that last week. That makes zero sense. I don't know why he would even think that girl would have actually been like, oh yes, I need a support system because my mom is gone and I'm going to turn to you, Ian. I'm like, on what planet did you think that was going to work?
Yeah. And I think the most disappointing part about this Ian and Jordan storyline is it took next to nothing for Victor to find where they were staying at. I mean, granted, he doesn't know Jordan's in there, but it took him, what, less than a day to find out where Ian was living at.
Yeah.
So they're doing all this scheming. Victor could have one of his men be listen out and check to see who's going in and out of the hotel room. So they're too busy on who's doing what for who for each other versus like trying to go with the next steps.
Mm-hmm.
And like and Ian's being way too confident, way too cocky.
Yeah.
And this. I'm really ready for this to be over with.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I saw the spoilers for the week of the 13th through the 17th, and by the end of the week,
Mm-hmm.
Sharon is still down there. So I'm like,
Wow.
this is insane. I mean, y'all don't have anything else to write about? Y'all don't have all these characters. You don't have anything else to write about. And you dragging the Damian thing. And then all this
And you
stuff.
got.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I mean, and then the situation with Adam and Chelsea. Ain't nobody care about that next week.
I forgot about that.
Who? But the thing is, who cares? They're doing Chelsea and Adam 270.0. It's like, how many times y'all gonna keep doing that toxic relationship? We don't care about
And
them.
we've been saying the same thing about Brooke and Rich too.
Yep. So I'm like, y'all dragging this storyline out with Jordan, because obviously with Ian, Jordan, and Cameron, you got three villains on screen right now. I mean, granted, Cameron
Yeah.
is a figment of Sharon's imagination, but yet it's a villain from the past. You got all three of them on at the same time, and you're dragging the storyline out. We're in 2025, and we still dealing with something from back in what, May?
Yeah. They need to kind of come to some conclusion, because if they're trying to loop in Mariah and Claire, they should have done that a few months ago, to where, because now I feel it's like they're rewriting as they go.
Mm-hmm.
And weren't they supposed to pin what happened with Sharon on Phyllis?
That's what
When
I
does that
heard.
happen?
Exactly. That was some spoilers that was supposed to happen toward the end of this past week. Wait a minute, let me see. I'm gonna pull up, because I had the spoilers that came out for this for the 6th through the 10th. Let me see.
The one says, right, Phyllis Summers off the show. You don't like
Girl,
Phyllis? Phyllis is my girl, the one.
obviously he don't like Phyllis, girl. Let me see.
You don't like Phyllis. You don't like the new Taylor.
Yeah, I was trying to see. I remember some sort of spoilers where she should have been locked up with her, because they were going to pin this on her. But I don't know.
Right.
It was just the writing, even with that, has been weird. Because remember, we saw Phyllis decide to have a change of heart.
Right. It was actually that same week.
The same
Because
day.
Ian and Jordan, same day, because Ian and Jordan were plotting what was going to happen to Sharon. And then what happened to Sharon was the following day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm, they stressed what their plan was for it to put it on Phyllis. And there's no spoilers saying that they're going to do that starting next week. But and that was my issue. What I was talking about last Friday when I watched Monday's episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so Jordan's going rogue.
Mm-hmm.
So Ian has an expectation that a body was going to be found in the same river, and it's supposed to be Sharon's. Where are they going to get a body from? Because the whole expectation was for Jordan to go along, and then the body comes up, and then they pin it on Phyllis. But if there's no body, how can you pin it on Phyllis? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then she's using Sharon as insurance to get what she wants. What makes you think? But she didn't lie to Ian already, saying that Sharon is right where she should be. The car, the water, whatever. Okay, so what's the leverage? So now you're going to come back and say, well, by the way, I didn't get rid of her, and I won't get rid of her, or maybe she'll tell on him or frame him for hiding Sharon, unless he does what she need him to do for Claire. But according to the spoilers next week, Claire is going to run into her.
And the other part about this is Ian knows that Jordan is out. He helped her get her out. All it takes is for him to go to Victor and say, like, "Oh, I noticed this woman Jordan is out," or leave like breadcrumbs for Victor to figure it out.
Right.
Like they both could rat on each other. So
Right.
what is the leverage?
Exactly.
And Bridget Jackson, I agree. Maybe they've changed their minds about framing Phyllis, but this goes to show that they're writing as they go with the storyline at this point.
Exactly. I agree with that. It's like y'all just throwing stuff together, and I've been saying that. They've been adding things to this. This storyline stems all the way back with Lucy and Faith's so-called friendships.
Right. And they aged up Lucy in the process too. She went from 14 to 16 real quick.
Yep.
And even with that, and then you got Faith who's not going to school. You got like all of these moving parts. And we weren't introduced to Ian and Jordan until what? October, November, something like that.
Yeah, it was but for the 13,000th episode.
Oh yeah, Abby's birthday.
Yep, November 13th.
And we're approaching the middle of January, and it's like I don't know. I feel like we're it's like a ball of wax. And the thing is, we love the actors, we love the acting, the performances that we saw from Sharon Case and the actress who plays Phyllis. I can't think of her name, Michelle Safford. Mm-hmm. Like we've been getting great performances. So, but as far as the storyline goes, it's like they're adding on people, they're adding on parts, they're not clarifying certain things that we witnessed on screen. And this is why I wish they had like a test audience before they air it, because I'm pretty sure majority of the audience has the same question.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. So yeah, it's. I wish they would figure out a way to close this things up. And I do see some folks in the chat saying how it's a possibility there may be a do something by February sweeps. But we done been through May sweeps and July and November, and now we're coming up on February, and we still dealing with this. I just want them, but then if they, okay, so say for example they do end it, what's next? Now right. I do think they're building up a whodunit storyline, because there are spoiler picks out there that saying Ian is going to get shot. And we saw this week Mariah threaten him. Those two pictures right in the middle. Mariah threatened him and Nick threatened him. And of course Victor threatened him. That's the other picture at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So there's several threats, and I'm wondering if now they're going to even though they might get rid of the Ian Ward character or whatever, they can still add on to this storyline by saying, well, who did this? Because as far as the police know, he, well, no, because there's a spoiler out next week about the fact that, hold on, where is it? It is, hold on, because I saw it. So I don't know. It's a lot of conflicting stories. I'll just say that, because there's this other story, this other spoiler about it in the next week that says something about Ian and how they found out that his deceptions. So then if they find out that he actually is behind this, then I guess they could automatically end that storyline and say, okay, yeah, he was up to no good. He was plotting with Jordan, and he switched another person out for Jordan's identity. And okay, so then what do we have? If that storyline was to go away, what do we have, Bree?
Yeah, that's pretty good. That wraps up the storyline for a lot of the characters. because that wraps up everything for Sharon, Phyllis, the Romalottis. Like this doesn't. Sorry, there's a motorcycle
Mm.
passing me by,
Oh
but
yeah, I heard it.
this 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 closes the door for everything unless Jordan gets away. But even still, it's like this is the only major storyline. I
Mm.
can't think of anything else. I mean, we got the little bit that's going on between Jack and Kyle and Diane. They're trying to patch things up still, which doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got Billy looking for revenge and taking over, and he is not getting anywhere. He's still still on in square one. So, and then we get the stuff with Damian coming on to play.
Mm-hmm.
So the only major storyline is this one with Sharon and Ian and Jordan.
Yep. So
And once that wraps up, that's it.
yeah, because the Abbotts don't really have anything going on. You know, they finally reconciled. We saw that this week with the conversation between, but Kyle got on my nerves a little bit because when Diane walked in and said, "Yeah, I was going to have you prosecuted," he had the nerve to get mad. And I'm like, dude, you committed a crime.
Right. Yeah. Uh, Even his daddy said he was going to do the same thing weeks ago. And rightfully so, because that affected the business. They have to protect their company. If they found someone who did corporate espionage and fed somebody else that information, that is grounds for being prosecuted. He has lost his mind.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the reaction he had when, Diane walked in that room and was like, "Yeah, I was about to have you prosecuted." And you would have done what? I'm like, you you did espionage, sir. You took a proprietary, what did she call that? It was a term she used for it. But he took
I
company, go ahead, what are you about to say?
I think it was a proprietary. What did
It
she
was a shorter
say?
term for it, like a PRI or something she said. I forgot the little
Mm-hmm.
term. But whatever it is, he took from their company and you gave it to the op.
Right. Granted, the company's in their hands now, and they're trying to do something with the shell company. But even still, he chose to think for himself and undermine his family and his family company by doing something completely illegal. Yes, you would get prosecuted, whether you're family or not. If it was Billy, Kyle wouldn't have an issue with that prosecution. If it was anybody else,
Right.
he would have went along with it. But because it's him, like the entitlement is insane,
Same.
and he got her job position.
Yeah. You had
He
no
learned nothing.
consequences from this. None.
Learned nothing.
Mm-mm. And you can
But
tell
when
he learned nothing just from that reaction.
yeah, and you want to cry about like, Mom, you were gonna put me in jail. Yes, I was gonna put you in jail.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you in jail. What do you mean? Um, and there's something else I was gonna say. Oh, the conversation that Diane found out that Claire spent the night. And she said, I think you need to have a conversation with Harrison to say, hey, your nanny is now daddy's girlfriend. Then, okay, so let me ask you this, Bree. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that that's a conversation that Kyle and Summer should have with Harrison or Kyle and Claire should have with Harrison?
It should just be Kyle,
Okay, gotcha.
because that's his own personal business. I don't think, for one, adding Summer to it would just make it more messy because she doesn't like the fact that they're together anyway. So it wouldn't be a good idea to have her be a part of the conversation. And Claire, no, that's his child. He needs to address that with his child. Same way Summer addressed her dating Chance
Mm-hmm.
by herself, I believe. So It should come from Kyle. But here's the thing, Kyle is old enough to get his own damn place.
Well, according to what we saw, was that today's episode, he ain't going nowhere.
Pitiful. So he can't even. He cries about not getting his job positioned, and he does like all these criminal acts, and then gets rewarded for it, and then made a big fuss about, oh, I need to get my place of my own. I need to go and be a man, and then all of a sudden now he wants to live in his house like a child. Still.
After all that screaming and whining and crying, he ended up getting his old job back, and now he's still staying at the Abbott house. Yeah. So
Right.
he basically
And
went full circle.
exactly. He didn't grow up, and it shows there with him still living underneath his daddy's roof. And what did he have Claire pick out houses for? What was the purpose of that? If he had no
Girl,
intention of really moving.
right. He ain't going nowhere. I mean, and obviously it actually came to fruition, that he's not going anywhere. So that whole thing is just a hot mess. But I do agree with you on the fact that Kyle probably needed to have a conversation by himself.
It's his life, his business. He needs to set whatever parameters, as far as what Harrison should know about who he's dating. Because, address those questions, because if he had Summer in the mix, she could have a perspective on it and feed that to Harrison, which may or may not be true, but all of it should really come from Kyle as far as what he's doing with Claire.
I gotta say something going back to the whole interaction between Mariah and Ian. Did you see Ian tried to bait her by what he said about her and Tessa's relationship?
Yeah.
I was
I'm
like,
like,
ooh.
and that woke up a beast. She was not having that at all. I was like, okay, Mariah, this is the only episode where I like Mariah.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I think once he realized that there was no way that he could get to her, he said, you know what? I'm going to make her in a position where she does something to me. So remember, he told Jordan that if they don't comply, then they were going to punish them. So why not poke the bear, knowing how she would react? He knew that she would have been upset about him saying something about her relationship with Tessa. And she did exactly what he expected, which she put a threat on the table.
Yeah. And I don't blame her. I would have done the same exact thing. Because he's going around saying like, oh, I've changed. I'm a man of the cloth, and I want to do good things. But you have people who are seeing right through that. I don't understand why he wants the focal point to be on him, but I understand he wanted to poke the bear. So if something were to happen, or if they don't comply, they can create a scenario around like Mariah and Nick. I get that. But everything she said, I agree with. Absolutely. Protect your family. Protect, let him. And it looked like she can take him down right then. I was like, oof.
I gotta say, I'm liking Melody Thomas Scott's haircut. That looks so nice on her.
It does. I love this little Rhythm Nation outfit that she has on in that scene.
Rhythm Nation, you silly. I think her hairstyle, isn't that considered like a bob, or like a long style bob, maybe?
It's like a bob with some bangs, but it's gorgeous. She looks stunning. Loved it. That's her. That should be her look. And I love the fact that we see a grown-up Claire in the background.
Yeah, Claire's slowly coming out of her shell. And then one more other thing for this week is the fact that Claire actually heard the exact tea that Jordan normally orders. And I thought that was pretty interesting, because she was like, oh, girl, you see how they did that dramatic when she turned her head so fast, like, oh my God.
Yeah. And it's just like we were looking at right there at the bottom left hand corner,
Mm-hmm.
that this was, maybe she might be the only one to figure out that Jordan is out of prison
She
because
will next week. Mm-hmm.
that's true.
Yeah, because she's going to
But
run into her, and then she's going to run and tell Victoria and Nikki, according to the spoilers. She's going to let them know that Jordan is in town.
so all these people are going to know. See, this is.
Bad
So what is
writing.
the end game?
Exactly. There is none. Originally, see, and this is where we got thrown off because when they brought them back in November, the end game was supposed to be a bunch of bodies laying in their path. So the fact that he was upset with Paul, he took out Heather. Then there was the whole thing with Jordan because of Claire. And all roads was supposed to lead to Victor, right? Well,
Right.
now they decide to have Ian's road lead to Mariah and the other road lead to Claire. And I'm like, okay, so y'all couldn't go the long haul? Y'all figure like, okay,
Right.
no, let's just scrap that. We took out Heather. Paul can't come. Blah 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 blah. You know what? Let's just make it about Mariah. And I'm like, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Mm-mm.
I don't know what y'all doing, and we know y'all listen to the podcast. We trying to help you out. We're just, like I said, we love the acting. It's just now we're getting to like the end of the road, if you will, with the storyline, and it feels like it's like we're being like we're at a restaurant looking at a menu, and we're ordered for like an incredible Italian cuisine, and we get a pot of gumbo.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bunch of stuff
Oh,
that makes absolutely no sense.
one more other thing, Tessa. Why is it so hard after Mariah and Abby and Nicholas and Faith and anybody who could tell Tessa about Ian that part of her is still like questioning his sincerity or not?
Because you know what I think? Because she came onto the show as a criminal,
Mm.
and people forgave her. So maybe she is one of those people who want to give her the benefit of the doubt, give him the benefit of the doubt, and or maybe she might be underneath his spell. I mean, we saw how quickly he was able to put something in her drink.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he could be slowly trying to lure her, trying to drug her, and just like how he was running his cult, he could, be trying to lure her away from Mariah some way. I don't know,
Oh no.
but
I'm
I think
like, girl. And nobody, she is not, to me, some kind of way, they should be able to narrow it back to what she was drinking. Out of all the people that ask her, well, what do you think is happening? She'll go through, well, this has happened then, and I felt this way at this point, and I'm like, can you get back to the water? You were fine when he walked in that door. But the moment you walked away and came back and drunk some water, now you got a problem. That should have told you something.
right. And I'm surprised they didn't mention anything about Abby checking on her, or
Mm-mm.
checking the videotape, since they know that Ian has come into the facility. They were questioning her about like what led up to it. Well, there's no cameras in the restaurant. Like
Right.
it's like little things like that. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. I agree with
I
that.
wanted to point out a couple of comments. Yes, Alyssa Combs, Claire, start wearing hope for the future. I'm so glad for that too. And Bridget Jackson said, I knew you was going to go there about Nikki's outfit being Rhythm Nation. That's exactly what it's getting. And look at the pose too.
I
Look at
know,
the
right?
pose. She ready to get up her 1-2 step
I
and
know, right,
everything.
girl? Yeah, so. All right, did we cover everything on that?
Pretty much. There's nothing else? It was kind of a slow week. There was like it had like peaks and valleys. I'll say that.
Right, I
Yeah, peaks
agree.
and valleys.
I agree. Okay. Alrighty. How many people we got in the chat?
We got 137 in the chat, you guys. Please hit that like button.
Yes, and I did not do a recap today because of the fact that I thought Y&R was slow to me. I mean, there was the moment that Abby tried to confront Ian, but I'm like, okay. And then Cameron, all right, whatever. And then Bold, which we got to talk about. I think the highlight for me this week was Daphne.
Yes.
And we'll talk about Miss Daphne Rose. But thank you guys for hitting the like button and those who have subscribed. Make sure you follow us on other platforms, Instagram, TikTok. We have a Facebook group. There is the Medium, blogs, Threads, X, and that might be it. Yep. Okay, cool. So make sure you follow on all those platforms as well. I've been posting a lot of videos on TikTok lately, and it's been getting a lot of traction over there too. So yeah, make sure you follow us. We always have good stuff. Let me know in the chat if you want to join our Facebook group. We have good times. People are sharing posts in there. There's conversations in the Facebook groups. We're in the Facebook groups as well, so a lot of you guys either comment with us from time to time. So yeah, let me know and I'll drop the link in the chat. Also, thank you guys for supporting the channel with the cups and the mugs from last month. The little Christmas special for Bold and the Beautiful, Team Hope, and Team Steffy. And I think it was Myra who actually took a picture with her mug and posted it in the Facebook group. So if you want one of those mugs, I know it has the Christmas background, but it is on the screen. If you would like one of those mugs, because I mean, Steffi and Hope are going to go head to head next week, as Steffi will be back into the office trying to get her job back. So, yeah. Oh, Allison, you like your Team Steffi cup? Listen, I was surprised. I had more Team Steffi mugs that was scooped up over the Team Hope. And I mean, either way is fine. But the Team Steffi folks came in hot when I first posted it. So if you do, you know what, I'll post a link. Hold on one second. So if you guys want to get a mug, you can. Hold on, let me see. Where'd it go? Oh, duh, it's over here. Okay. Girl, you know how you be looking for stuff and it's like, dang, where's that? And then you realize, oh yeah, by the way. Okay, let me see. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of Team Steffy. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, in the chat.
Everyone's representing their mugs. Okay. We should probably get one for Brooke and Taylor, too.
Yeah, I'm still coming up with more other mugs as well. Okay, so I think hopefully there it is. And I know there's some little weird looking emoji things next to the link, but the Team Steffi is in the first link and then the Team Hope is in the second link. So you can get one of those mugs. I do have a cha-cha-cha mug coming out. So for those who are, remember when Steffi used to say to Liam, cha-cha-cha? I have a cha-cha-cha mug. I have a mug, You Are My Destiny. A lot of little cute quotes from our favorite daytime CBS soaps, that you can get a hold of. So stay tuned for those. I think one of them is that one, the Destiny one might be out already. I think I might have posted it, but all right, there you go. So I did drop the link. Maybe let me pin it so it can stay at the top for temporarily. If you guys want to go ahead and do, grab your mug. And you can get it in different styles. You can get coffee mugs, you can get the ceramic mugs, you got options. So, and thank you guys for those who did get their mug. And, if you grab one, yeah, you should be able to, Angela. You should be able to. Make sure you should take a picture and post it in the group like Myra did. And so everybody can get a chance to see your team and how you enjoying your new mug. So, all right. Moving on. Bold and the Beautiful. All right. So let's go ahead and unpack what's going on this past week in LA. We have for the Bold and the Beautiful for the week of the 6th through the 10th. Brooke gets physical with Taylor and slaps Ridge in a shocking confrontation. Carter and Hope receive an unexpected visitor as Steffy puts a plan into action. Carter takes the bait dangled by Daphne and Steffy, and Ridge puts the moves on Taylor. Steffy shares her plan with Finn, and Ridge surprises Taylor with a meaningful gift. And Donna gives Brooke devastating news, and Rich and Taylor make love and big plans.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
He moved right along with that.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. All right. Where do we start? I guess we can start at the beginning of the week, because when she confronted him about her plan, which was, I was just going to take over the CEO position for you. And he was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah. And the thing is, I get his viewpoint, and later on in the week, we get Steffi and Eric's viewpoint about solidarity.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But once again, this woman had ample opportunity to let this man know what her plan was, especially since Carter gave her a chance to think it over before she accepted the position. I mean, who else were they going to give the position to? Well, I don't understand why she felt like a knee-jerk reaction to just accept it. Well, if she had a plan, mm-hmm. she could have called Ridge versus texting him saying that she has something important. Call him and let him know what the plan was.
Right, she mishandled this whole thing. I mean, Carter told her, "I'll give you sleep on it. Let me know tomorrow." You was like, no. I'm gonna make my decision. She could have said, okay, let me sleep on it. I'm finna go and set up a plan with Ridge. Like, listen, they offered me the CEO position. Maybe we can use this to our advantage to get you back into Forrester. No, you says yes to him. Get in front of a camera after sending a text message that you don't even know got to him or not. And right. Then you wanted to explain after the fact. And now I gotta say, we're gonna have some smoke for Ridge too. But you after the fact. And then you wondering why he did what he did. Now, why he was mad. Now, this whole thing about turning to Taylor so fast, I gotta say, it's kind of foul.
But is it surprising, though?
It's not surprising, but good grief. It was a nanosecond.
But it was Taylor's turn. Girl. These women, they love playing musical chairs with this man. And Brooke, the way that Brooke has handled it, she knows it's not her turn. She knows it's Taylor's turn. That's why she's just kind of eating it up. That's why she slapped him. That's why she pushed her, because she knew that she's going to constantly share herself with this man. So even the little statement that she made to Ridge, I deserve better. You can have your second choice, which is Taylor. And I'm like, well, she was the second choice in general after Caroline. But you were the third, fourth, fifth, maybe choice in that list.
Yep.
So,
but you know what? I don't feel sorry for Taylor, and another person on Y&R. I don't feel sorry for Sharon either. I used to be like, oh, the meds and stuff, but after I meant to mention that on Y&R. You in this position
Mm-hmm.
because you should have known better than to go out that house without security and drive to that party by yourself, knowing that
Yep.
somebody's out there trying to come for you. You.
And her family was trying to get her to go with them just to ensure of her safety.
Mm-hmm. That could have been avoided. Number one, when Nick said I got Daniel's security, but I didn't get you none yet, I'd be like, first of all, I'd be like, really? And second of all, I would have been like, okay, I ain't going nowhere. And then you turn
Yeah.
around and leave and go by yourself, knowing that somebody killed Heather, somebody put PCP in your medication, and you gonna go out on the biggest night where nefarious things happen on New Year's Eve and think that, oh, everything is gonna be hunky dory, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. No. Mm-mm. So I don't feel sorry for
This is
her.
the same woman.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same woman who also warned Daniel and said, like, you need to provide protection for you and Lucy. They were able to get protection, so she knows there's a threat. But as soon as like they were reopening the case, she's like, okay, I want to go celebrate.
Right.
Let's go party. Like, lady,
Yep.
how like just
Yeah.
anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then now when it comes to Taylor, you thought you were dying from heart failure. You have broken heart syndrome, according to, Dr. Buckingham. And you were walking around there talking about, I don't need no man. You just told, when Brooke showed up to Steffy's place, I don't want your man. I don't need no man. And now you in the bed with this dude. I did both of these ladies.
Yeah,
I
this thing.
can't. I just can't. Mm-mm.
They are sister wives. This is they've accepted it. They were perfectly fine. They even tried to make it work as a friendship. They got rid of Rich, and that was the other funny part. They got rid of Rich for like a good year, even
Mm-hmm.
though Brooke broke that pact.
Mm-hmm.
They focus on a whole friendship because they have a common, frustration with how Ridge, like, in his decision making. But these women were perfectly fine fighting after this man, accepting it. Even Brooke was saying that, even after he turned to Taylor, I still wanted to try to get this man's company back. I'm like, where is your self-esteem? Because if the slap should have happened when Ridge called Hope a B and a
Mm-hmm.
slut.
Mm-hmm.
Not like she slapped him because he turned to Taylor, which is nothing new. It's absolutely nothing new. That's second nature for him at this point. And on top of that, she allows it. And she allows to be like one of his other choices amongst the women that he gets involved with.
Yeah, well, she went through this whole thing when she slapped Ridge about the fact that she wished she never came to LA and her mom was a caterer and all this kind of stuff. So I'm assuming you regret having Bridget and Nick too. And Rick too, right? Because you
Right, all
mad
of her
at
kids.
exactly you mad at Ridge, but before you even started having kids with Ridge, you had kids with Eric. So you mad about that too? Because if anybody needs to be mad about this whole takeover, it's Eric.
Yes, who's done nothing but defend Brooke and her family
Yep.
for years.
Yep.
And he was even trying to convince Steffy to bring Hope back after Steffy fired her. Like, this man has been nothing but loyal to the Logan family. And you're right, Jenna. Brooke has done this 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
And if she has done this once, like she's done this numerous of times, taking this man back, stalking this man to try to get this man to come back to her, sleeping with his family members, both of his brothers, his daddy. This is the same woman who will go out of her way for Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to say, like, oh, you can go back to Taylor because she's your second choice. Well, she has no problem picking up the slack from the other woman for
Right.
years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't understand how that was a dig. I mean, Taylor was his second wife. So, yeah, he was the second choice as far as that goes. But later down the line, you were the third, fourth, maybe even fifth choice down the line. You were never his first choice, if we're being honest.
I just don't. I wish that they would make Ridge suffer a little bit. Y'all been making Liam suffer for a while now. And I mean, granted, Scott Clifton haven't been on for about a good 2 to 3 months lately. But up and after the whole Hope breakup, ain't nobody want him. Why can't Ridge get a little bit
except
of
for
a
Ivy at one point?
barely, and they're not even putting that girl in the. I guess maybe when they bring him back, we'll see. But I mean, Ridge needs to suffer a little bit. The reason that he do what he do is because he know the women will allow him to.
Right.
I mean, because
and even after.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, even after their kids are grown, they got grandkids, they're still choosing. They're making a conscious decision to be in this man's back pocket.
Yep. And after everything that happened, now granted, Hope did some bad things, but Ridge said some crazy, diabolical things about Hope, calling her that nasty bee, and that what type of slut he called her? It was
not unsuccessful.
It was something.
A worthless slut.
Right. Oh, I'm hoping, please, YouTube, don't give me a limited. No. I had to think about, could I use that word or not? But anyway, this man just talked trash about your daughter like that, and you still tried to figure out a way to be with. I don't know. That's weird. Now, granted, Hope did some egregious things by working with Carter to take this man's company. I gotta say that, right? But on the same side, he went for the jugular with those comments, and you still like, but please, I still want to be with you. Girl, I ain't nobody talking about my kids like that. I might have to, chastise them myself. Like, listen, you should have did what you did. Now, I mean, but to let somebody call names like that, especially about my dog, But anyway,
right?
Yeah,
and I don't feel sorry. This is the same woman who 2 weeks ago was saying, like, by this time next year, Rich and I are going to be together. So because he didn't want to go along with a plan that she really hasn't hooked up entirely, he was wanting her to go in solidarity. She's mad at the fact that this man is not just going along and trying to make things right and trying to make things right with Hope. Like, how can she expect that?
Right.
And then even let's say her plan worked and she was able to get a Carter to sign off so she can hand the company back to Ridge, she's still going to have this expectation that, and I think she even said it in the dialogue, that she's going to have Hope and Carter still work there. How? And then you're going to have, and Ridge also made it a point that he doesn't want to be underneath the same roof as that girl.
Right.
So
Jenna said that Brooke is a magical thinker.
Right. I'm like, this was foolish on this woman's part. And for her to say, like, we're going to be fine, we hit a rough patch, we're going to be together. He doesn't want to live under the same roof as that girl. How is she going to try to make that work? Even if she were to give the company back to him. Right. He's not going to break bread with her daughter. And that's just the bottom line. Yeah. So it was doomed to fail because of her daughter.
Right. Exactly. And then as for Taylor, like I said, why would you even, if you know that this man is a physical trigger for you, and
Mm-hmm.
just because this mess happened with Brooke, you just went through, even though it was Krista Allen, but you just went through something similar. Was at the end of 2023? No, 22.
Right.
End of 2022, when he left you, he that man chased you all the way up to Aspen. Y'all screwed in that cabin. Brooke was left crying. And then when the whole CPS thing came out, he left you at that altar and went and ran straight to Brooke. I mean, I don't feel sorry for neither one of them. Nope.
Yeah.
Because
Me either.
they're a glutton for punishment.
Right. And they see this man as a prize, which after 30 years, you would think these women would have some common sense. But Taylor is to the point, this woman, this is the whole medical condition.
Hey, Bree, are
And
you
then,
moving around?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, because your phone is kind of sounding pixelated a little here and there.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. But Taylor has a whole medical condition about this man. And then you got Brooke, who this woman feels so confident that she has Ridge in the palm of her hands. She's insecure as ever. She was perfectly fine with going home with this man after he called her daughter a B.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that same home, he called her a worthless S.
Mm-hmm.
And then she still wanted to be with this man, still wanted to help him, still wanted to do all of this. And I'm like, that's where you should have slapped him.
Yeah,
that's where that would have been warranted.
And then you turn around and push Taylor. And I gotta say, Rebecca Buddick and them shoes. Where did they find them shoes that's like 9 inches tall? I know the girl is short, but I know, but I mean, why don't they just let? I mean, I could see her wearing regular heels. Why do they have to make her super tall?
I think maybe like for like the camera angles and like camera lines or something like that. She has to kind of look somewhat taller. But she's a short queen. I understand what she's going through.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but I just think if they let her wear natural heels, there's a way that they gotta be able to do, because sometimes I be freaking. I'm like, ooh, wow, as long as she don't roll an ankle or trip and fall. Them shoes is high.
I mean, I understand she got to do what she has to, but even still, the way that Brooke pushed her into the table,
right?
I was like, between Brooke and Steffy, they ready for the playoffs. My goodness, just defensive tackling everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really petty on her part to do that to Taylor.
They actually had her taking accountability for that a couple times. She was like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. When she was talking to Katie.
Yeah.
And that's not one of my best moments. But one thing I did not like is the fact that she said Hope made a mistake with this whole coup. And I'm like, a mistake is not something that you continuously do for the last 2 months, 3 months with her boyfriend. And Hope just had a conversation with her when looked like Brooke tried to talk her out of it, like, you were wrong, you took the company. She's like, okay, and Carter doing big things. Your daughter don't see this as a mistake. You can color it up as much as you want to, but this is a choice.
I agree with that, because usually if there's a mistake, there's some form of regret behind it, and you want to try to fix things. She doesn't want to fix it. She likes the position that she is in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I won't feel sorry for her when she falls.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look at what it's done to her mother's relationship. Even when Brooke came into the office and Hope and Carter saw her, the look on Hope's face, she wasn't at all sad or disappointed. She was like, oh, okay. She didn't care, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. She didn't care.
Mm-mm. She walking around there with a big old smile on her face and, canoodling with Carter. That girl don't regret anything. And I mean, she gives not even two thoughts about Eric. I mean, she might feel some kind of way about Ridge and Steffi, but do you care about the old man at all?
Right. And wasn't it sometime like December of like 2023, they made it a big deal about Hope knowing Eric's condition because they were so close and he worked on her line and all of this, and she's breaking down. This is the same man that she's choosing to go against and take over his company.
Yeah, I
So
mean, all because it's what they want. Nothing about, my thing is, it's nothing wrong with you want to run your own company. Then go start your own company. Don't take
right.
something for yourself and then say, well, I'm going to turn it into what I want it to turn it into because working here is trash. So I want to make sure I make this place the way I want it to be. And if that means I had to scheme to get them to lie, to scheme, to get them to sign paperwork, which I knew was wrong, I'm going to do it anyway. And I succeeded. Hope is happy. It's not a mistake. And I'm sitting up there like, and did you see when Brooke walked into the office looking sad, Hope and Carter, they look pathetic. They don't look like leaders. They're like, oh well, we're here, we're having fun. It's like that ain't how you run a business.
Yeah. Yeah, they were more excited about the perfume lady and the stuff happening with Hope for the future and all these other different things. And it's like they tried to feel sorry for Brooke. They
Mm-hmm.
tried, but it was nothing genuine.
Right. Well, all I have to say about next week is the fact that Brooke is going to agree for Steffi to come work there because she thinks that this is going to be a way for her to get back with Ridge by having Steffi work there. I'm like, is everything about getting back with Ridge? Girl,
At
you see
this
that? Did you see that
stage,
spoiler?
yeah. And she even said, like, at this stage, I wasn't expecting to go home alone and do all of this alone and not have Rich by my side. So once again, this woman who acts confident, saying that she got Ridge in the palm of her hands and that she's his number one choice, she's moving ever so insecurely.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the purpose of you slapping him? What was the purpose of you pushing Taylor into a table?
And not being second choice. All of
Right.
that stuff. Girl.
Ugh.
I'm like, this
Pitiful.
man must have the golden D or something. I don't know.
The way he does it, I don't know what it is. And these both Taylor and Brooke have had their fair share of men. Sometimes a similar man.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever Ridge is doing to these ladies, it's something that they're still choosing to be in their back pocket for. They are perfectly fine being sister wives. They are perfectly fine with not showing any self-respect. Nothing. They are good with whatever Ridge is giving them, and clearly it's genetic because even Hope was addicted to it at one point herself.
Yeah, well, hopefully, they. I don't know if is she going to continue to pine after Ridge and try to break them two up. Are they going to bring her a new man? I've been seeing rumors about that, meaning Brooke. Will she go to Bill? I don't know. I, you know.
Mm. Oh, that's a good point.
Where you gonna go from
Um,
here?
I don't know, but if she's hoping that if hiring Steffi back was going to win Ridge's heart again, more than likely she's going to still try to fight to be with this man.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that Ridge was talking with Taylor, saying like, "Oh, let's get the beach house. Let's move in together," and I don't know. She might need to move on to another man, and I don't know that since Bill is not interested in Luna,
Yeah,
other than being
well,
a father figure, he's wide awake. Wide.
Luna is interested in Will now, and I don't even know how that's going to work because Will already know who she is and what has happened. How does she act? Well, I mean, obviously she's a lunatic. That's what we call it, lunatic Luna.
Mm-hmm.
But in her mind, she's loving the fact of him being the hero for Elektra. That she's like, I need somebody like him.
You know what I think it is? I don't think it's necessarily. Well, that could also be a component, but he's an heir. Will is an heir to Bill's empire. So she already used Bill to try to get out of prison. It worked. So to solidify herself, she's going to get with somebody who's in her age bracket at least, and also will be passed down that wealth. And I don't think that Will is aware of the fact that she kissed his father. I don't think. So she could still try to win him over, same way she broke down and won Bill over. So,
uh-oh, your phone, girl.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, like she's already strategizing. She ready to try to still get up underneath this empire. I think that was always going to be the end goal.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they flash back and say like, oh, this woman, was either trying to pay somebody to beat her up to try to get Bill to kind of sympathize with her and get her out or something to that effect. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, and Cheryl Hines, I heard that as well. The rumors that somehow Luna and Remy are going to join forces. My question is, how is that going to happen? She can't leave the property. And why would Remy even be allowed to be on Bill's property? Now, granted, he could sneak on there because we all know the security teams on all of the properties on Forrester is trash. So maybe I don't know how they gonna, if that happens, I don't know how that's gonna work, but I guess we have to see. We need to now.
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, it won't be long for people find out that Luna's living there, especially since she's bumping into plants and vases and everything. And she can't stay in one place.
Yeah,
so this is dumb on his part.
Yeah, she's, I don't know. That whole thing is just stupid. She put herself there because of what she did. She killed 2 people. And for him to say, oh, you shouldn't be here because we had bad mamas. Okay, there's some people that had bad mamas, but they do good things. She chose to do those things.
Right. Exactly. So I'm a little bit confused how he also said, like, nobody needs to know that you're here, or we have to be very careful. And then as soon as his son leaves, they're having a conversation on the couch.
Yep.
Make that make sense. So it won't be long for people find out that she's living there. I guarantee it.
Of course not. Much as people walk up in people's houses because they don't lock doors, and She just happened to be standing there or moving about the house. So I just think for Bill to be such a billionaire businessman, he is definitely not as smart when it comes to things like that. The Sheila situation, it's just bad writing. It's just bad
Yeah,
writing.
they like, because the first thing I would have thought, like, if he's getting her out of jail, I'm like, okay, maybe there's like a separate property that nobody's heard of, or like a
Mm-hmm.
secret room where she can stay at, or something. I don't
I
know,
don't know.
but
Mm-hmm.
this, and if Liam's coming back, he's going to see this girl too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm lost in all of this.
Yeah. So, but we did see next week, and we got to send a shout out to none other than our hostess with the mostest, Bree, because she's been talking about it for a whole year that Jack Finnegan can be Luna's daddy, and look like finally, and hey, I'm assuming the writers and producers maybe watch our show. We've been talking, well, especially Bree,
Mhm.
she's been talking about this. Now it looks like, because let's see, it was hinted that it could be Finn. Then they tried to put it on Bill. Then they put it on Tom. And now it looked like it's going to be Jack that, Luna could possibly be, his daughter. So, yeah. Yep.
I just know the podcast, we better be nominated for the Daytime Emmy Awards for our participation, because they listened, and sometimes I knew that woman slept with Lee's husband. I knew it. This man was going really hard in the paint for Poppy, saying like, oh, that Lee doesn't understand Poppy, and the fact that this woman was living underneath the house,
Mm-hmm.
living where, and then all of a sudden turns up pregnant. Come
Right.
on, that was clear as day for me. And then in the prison, Luna kept saying, possibly my dad, possibly. I'm like, okay, so they're going to test the waters again about who her daddy is. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy, because since Zala's storyline arcs, and we get Ben and Steffy in the mix too, because Steffy's not going to be happy that Luna's out.
Yeah.
She will not.
We
And
are.
then
Mm-hmm.
if it turns out that Jack is the daddy, that means Finn got a whole sister.
Mm-hmm. Which could cause problems with him and Steffi because of the fact that that same
Yep.
girl was the one that tried to lock her up in a cage and all of that other stuff. But we gotta say, what do you think about Donna talking about she's in my house, my house? I'm like, huh? I mean, you married
Mm,
to Eric, okay, fine, but don't Ridge live there too? For
it's
now?
a family house, and Ridge has been living there far longer than her.
Wait a minute, Bree. You call it Eric's GCAC, so
Exactly. So why is she surprised by Eric's family members being there? And if Eric doesn't have a problem with it, why does she?
right.
So it's okay for her family members to pop in unannounced and stay for as long as they want to. But Taylor, who's the mother of Eric's grandchildren, who's also been going in and out of that house for decades as well, she can't
Mm-hmm.
be there.
Right. Make that make sense. I'm looking like, first of all, he he's not married, and granted, I don't like the fact that Taylor or Brooke is trying to fight over Ridge, but the man has a room there. Even if he was taking some other woman up to his room, it's none of your business.
Right. Exactly. Like, just keep it moving, just like any other hotel.
And then you make it worse by getting on the phone calling Brooke to tell, oh my God, They had a romantic evening. And by the way, it gets worse. He's going upstairs to his room and Taylor is going with him. And I'm like, why don't you go? Where's Honey Bear?
Right. He must have already been in bed already.
I mean, I thought, girl, I thought she was actually gonna follow them up there. I thought maybe she would have filmed them, um, and sent it to him. But she got on the phone and was telling Brooke, and Brooke started breaking down in tears. And here go Katie. Let's go home and get some Rocky Road ice cream and watch a movie. Maybe that's what she should have did.
She could have just kept it pushing. And I'm like, tell Brooke for what?
Mm-hmm.
She was the one who had no problem walking away from Ridge and slapping him and say, like, hey, I deserve better. So then that's done. She closed the door on that relationship.
Right.
So, or so we think. Mm-hmm. That's going to change next week. I guarantee it.
Yep.
But you trying to do detective work and tell this woman what's going on in your husband's house with one of his kids?
Right. I mean, Ridge technically lives there. That was his place to stay, when he is not with Brooke. And now, to add to that, because the other surprise that Donna told Brooke was the fact that they won't get the beach house back, which that should be pretty easy because of the fact that RJ had it.
Right. And how are they going to explain that away? Are they going to say that he left the country again?
Girl, who knows where RJ is? They ain't mentioned nothing about that boy.
No, nothing. And he's one of the perspectives we wanted to try to get about this whole takeover thing.
Yeah.
We were aching for this. But It is what it is. But Ridge is already, he wants to move in with Taylor. I'm like, so you don't have any other places to go? You couldn't just date Taylor?
Right.
Not to say they I mean, it's nothing brand new for him, but you going within a 2-week time period, just go from, you don't want to break Taylor's heart to wanting to move in with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
girl.
Taylor's gonna be like, okay.
Right. She's like, we'll get the beach house back. So y'all finna go get the beach house, move in, and just be a couple? Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then I guess she's healed from her condition.
I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. We gotta talk about Daphne Rose.
Okay. So I understand people, have different opinions about Daphne. I didn't mind her.
Me either.
I feel like she not every character is going to be everyone's cup of tea at first, and plus the actress is new to this soap and she's filling her character out. But the character overall, she is, like we were talking in the chat, a femme fatale. Like she owns a room, and I didn't mind her. Now the Disney stuff was a bit much.
What Disney stuff? What do you mean?
People were calling the Disney moment where she took the scarf off and Hope and Carter were smelling. They said, what Disney movie was this from? There were so many memes and video clips about that particular scene, and it was hilarious. And I agree. Mm-hmm. But once again, she was confident in herself to where she didn't need to worry about getting samples or anything together. Mm-hmm. It landed her the job. I mean, it is what it is. And she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she is. I mean, there was a lot of people across soap social media having issues with the character. I like the confidence. I like the seductiveness. I like the mysterious air that she carries. I know some people might have thought that she was a little stiff or whatever, but she's playing this top renowned perfumier in the entire world. So she has status. That's the other thing.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of people like, well, who does she think she is, and whether or not with
She's full of
Steffi,
herself.
and like with Steffi, well, why did she answer to Steffi? Who Steffi thinks she is? She's nobody. Steffi is the CEO of a multi-international conglomerate
For years.
for years. She's the CEO.
And,
She's going to have access to people and access to open doors to areas that other people in that company can't.
and she owns part of Forrester Creations. And on top of that, they have an office overseas in Paris.
Right.
So it wouldn't be too far-fetched for her to know Daphne, and they gave a tiny little bit of backstory that, hey, they were friends. And so, I mean, who does Daphne think she is? I mean, she thinks she's that girl, and clearly Steffi saw something that Daphne could provide her and be able to help try to get her company back. Steffi's just trying to make moves, and I don't blame her. And she picked a beautiful woman who was confident in herself and looked like she was going to eat Hope up. It was clear who the woman was in that room.
Yeah,
Hope does not stand a chance.
Yeah, and then the other part of this is Steffi's plan, which is to have Daphne seduce Carter, because according to the two of them, no man can resist her back over there, but can she get Carter to do it? I don't know. I mean, Carter has been chasing relationships. I won't say chasing women. He's been chasing being in a relationship, and nothing sticks. And now, and now he got his claws into Hope. Hope is only with him because of the attention that she gets from him. Because other than that, Carter wasn't on her radar. But what about somebody as notorious as her that will try to seduce him? Maybe one of her fragrances have pheromones or something in it. I think you might have mentioned that in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that could really get him mesmerized or something. And even if maybe they don't sleep together, I think one of you all mentioned this in the chat too, about the fact that maybe it'll be a compromising position to get Hope upset or something. I don't know. Now, I know Jay don't think that they will break up. But I'm hoping, because I think they look good together. I think they should be put together.
You know what? I think it's inevitable for these two to hook up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Hope and Carter are not going to last anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Ridge had it right when they said that Carter was a lovesick puppy. It is true. You breathe near him, he's in love with you. So if Daphne gives this man time and attention, let's say Hope is working on her family line again, and she can't give Carter the time and attention. You got Daphne, who's bringing something new to the table, part of his luxury brand crap. And, they develop a closeness. I think that it's very possible to either for him to be caught in a compromising position that has Hope have like wavering thoughts about him being all for her. And that's the key thing that she keeps saying, that I found a man who's all for me and only me. That's not Liam or Thomas. Well, if it shows that he has interest in another woman and gets himself caught up, then that's going to pull her away from Carter in a way. So I don't know. I didn't see that, Melissa Spencer. She said that Daphne will give a twist that Steffi won't see coming. I mean, anything's possible, but like she's a new, fresh, exciting character on the show, and I understand that she's not likable at first because she seems like she's full of herself or she's overly confident. What I keep seeing online, but there's a lot of characters like that. I mean, Audra was like that at first.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I mean, when I saw when Carter said the word term, it smells beautiful, and she looked at him in his eyes, and I'm like, I'm liking the chemistry. That's why on my recap I did for that particular episode, my thumbnail, I put the two of them in that same photo op. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just I'm not feeling the Hope and Carter chemistry at first. 4 months ago, I was like, let's see where this go. But because I'm just not, I'm not. It's like I don't know who's worse, them or Liam and her. It's just boring to me. It's like watching paint dry.
It really is. And Hope is no competition for a Daphne Rose. You see how she be dressing. Exactly, Ron Julian. Hope dresses like Little House on the Prairie. That is Hope for the future.
Look at
That is
Jenna. You see what Jenna posted?
Daphne is a woman. Hope is a child. Well said. And you know what? Hope never liked the fact that Steffi was confident within, her femininity, that femme fatale, that sort
Mm-hmm.
of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got Daphne on overload.
Right.
She can't compete with that.
Yeah. Well, the question is Carter going to take the bait? I mean, it's already the door is open. They hired her, but
I
is he going to
mean,
take the seductive bait?
when has he not? This man has always shown that he has his own interests when it comes to the women that he encounters. He doesn't care if you're a best friend or employer or if the woman is married or engaged. Think of all the women that he's been with.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
has he is a serial cheater and he's a serial backstabber.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I can see
And
that. So it's possible that he will most definitely, decide to give in to his attraction.
mm-hmm.
So,
And he's not a married man, so he
nope.
up for grabs. And according to Hope, marriage and children are not on her life path at this point.
Mm-hmm. So,
So
yeah, I'm here for that. Now, there's people in the chat that's saying, what if she try to go after Finn instead? Or she's supposed to meet Ridge next week. What if she goes after Ridge? I don't know if I can see that part.
mm-mm.
Yeah,
And plus, Steffi would not be having
right.
it.
No.
Red is wrapped up with Taylor, and then you got Finn, who is all for Steffi. That's not going to wait for one bit. And plus, he's going to be busy with stuff going on with his mom and his aunt, and he might have a little sister. So he got his own stuff going on. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to zero in and have her focus on Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And driving Hope crazy. I
Right.
cannot wait for that.
Right. I
What is
agree
Hope
with
gonna
that.
do?
I agree with that. So, we covered everything for bold.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. We talked about Bill, we talked about Luna, and the
Mm-hmm.
rest was about Daphne and Brooke Ridge Taylor and Steph.
Yep, and Finn and Steffi got it on, and Ridge and Taylor got it on, and
Girl, you see, I ain't really get. I'm like, you know me. I usually a good love scene. I'm a sucker for, but I'm just like, okay, whatever. I
and
gotta
it's
say, I'm ticklish, right? And when I saw um Finn, aka Tanner Nolan, under his Jacqueline's shirt and was rubbing up against her, I'm like, how can she stand that?
unless she's biting her lip or
I
something.
know. I'd be like, okay, can y'all? Because this man here is like digging in my side. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you caught that, but
He, hmm, he was nice to look at, and it looked like he knew what he's doing. He all for Steffi. I got to
yeah,
give him credit.
yeah, he's 10 toes down with his wife. That's a one woman man. If anybody on that show, he's a one woman man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
I
go ahead.
I think that's it.
Okay.
But she, if we were who would we compare Daphne to? Because I know that we
Audra.
talked about Audra. I was because I brought up like Samantha Jones
Mm-hmm.
from Sex and the City. She has that same like way about her, very confident, knows her stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
has no problem flaunting, a little sexuality, a little, femininity. So that's kind of what she was giving if I could compare her to somebody.
Right. Yep. All right. Let's get into our 4 segments. I flipped the script. Who's taking several seats? Our star of the week, Pickle of the week, Simp Olympics. All right. So for YNR, what is your flip for this week?
For YNR, I would like for Nate. Well, actually, I would for Damian's mother, Amy Lewis, to have been the one to talk to her own son versus putting Nate in this weird position like this and starting off with a lie with his own brother.
Okay. Gotcha. My flip would have been with Kyle when he got all upset about I would have called the authorities on you. I would have been like, listen, dude, you better be glad that we didn't put you in jail and you got your CEO position back. I mean, yeah, Kyle did dial it back, but it's like, I don't understand why you got all mad in the first place when they said that. Which
Mm-hmm.
tells me he ain't learned nothing because he should have been like, dang, you know what? Yeah, I did a bad thing. But he got mad at his
Yep.
mama when he said that. I'd be like, hold on. You could have went to jail and this would have been a non-conversation. But we got you out of Victor's clause. I stepped down so you can take your position back. We also was able to get Glissade under our roof. And you want to get all up in your feelings right now? No. They let that boy off too easy.
Mm-hmm.
What's your flip for bold?
Well, I had two. One was get rid of that ugly dress Taylor had on. And since Donna wants to be so nosy, Ridge and Taylor should have probably just got it on right there on the couch.
Oof, yeah, that's what she. And all the time that she been sneaking and creeping with folks. She got a lot of nerve. When he was married to Quinn before the whole Carter thing, she was up in there getting his mojo started by sucking on his fingers. What are you talking
And side
about?
chick.
What'd you say?
As a side chick.
Yes.
To me.
Exactly. So I'm like, girl, how you gonna sit up there and talk about what somebody's sneaking and creeping doing and being a snitch, talking about your house when you was sneaking all over the place? You was up at the pool house, Eric lying about playing pickleball with you and all this other kind of stuff. Girl, if you don't go there, she's definitely gonna be one of my seat takers.
What is your flip?
My flip on bold would have been Taylor taking a step back. I think that she should have gave, even though Ridge was ready to jump her bones, I honestly think that she should have said, you know what, you just broke up with Brooke like 2 minutes ago. Why don't we kind of let the dust settle and, you know, see, well, in my opinion, I think she should just walk away. But and to be soapy, if because you know what Belle is gonna do, just at least get him some time in between. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that would have been my thing. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go home for the night. I enjoyed dinner. I know you want to take it to the next level, but everything is so fresh, and you just broke up with a heated conversation. If you're gonna be with me, I need to make sure Brooke is out of your system. So
Yep.
yeah, instead of going all heads in, head first, and then this man talking about he want to move in with you too. He was just living with Brooke 2 weeks ago.
Sister wives.
So, anyway, who taking a seat on Y&R?
Um, Kyle is going to take a seat, and yeah, I'm going to give it to Kyle, and
Okay.
I'm also going to give it to Nate as well because his plan is half baked.
Okay. Gotcha. Um, I'm gonna have Tessa take a seat and sit down and just backtrack and think, and don't think about giving in to Ian. Sit down and think about what everybody's trying to tell you, because they ain't wrong. What you say?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Tessa's around there looking all loop-de-doo. She, oh my God, he saved my life. I feel indebted to him. And they're like, girl, that was too convenient, don't you think? A few people done said that to her.
You know who else we forgot? Billy can take a seat.
Mm-hmm.
Get a grip. Like he go into anybody who would listen to him. Like, hey, you want to take over? You want to get revenge on Victor? You want to get revenge on Victor? You want to help me out and do this? Like, sir,
And then get
just
mad when they try to give him decent advice or say no.
yeah, exactly. Like Summer.
Yeah. I
Look how
mean,
she.
I gotta give it to him because Lily was like, "Look, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm back with my family. Yes, am I mad at Victor and Nikki? But and then he kind of backed off when he realized, okay, well, I'm happy for you. But for a moment, he was mad. He was like, "What do you mean you ain't gonna help me? She said she wasn't gonna help you. Go sit down somewhere."
For real, exactly.
Who's taking seat on Bowl?
I'm gonna give it to Brooke. It was I can understand him slapping Reg,
Mm,
but she didn't need to shove Taylor.
mm,
That was unwarranted. And she should have issues with the man, not the woman. And
right,
she does this consistently for decades where she goes toe to toe with the woman, but the men come out unscathed.
right. Yep, I agree. And then that goes into the spoiler for the end of next week, where next Friday, where Brooke and Taylor go to blows. So, and I'm like, y'all fighting the wrong person. And I'm not saying you need to fight him. Y'all need to walk away. Why are y'all fighting each other over him?
Right. It's a broken record, and they've learned nothing
Nope.
in 35 years.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. Nope. And the fact that Steffi is continuing to push her mom into a situation when she herself has a one woman man.
Yep. You don't want that for your mother? Just pitiful.
Right. They could have put her with Jack.
Mm-mm. That's a good point. And Bill was also available. There could have been other ways they could have went about this, but we gonna play the same broken record for another year.
Yeah, exactly. Um And let's see, I would take and put in a seat on bold Donna. You need to go somewhere and mind your own business.
Yep.
Get out of the grown folks' business. They ain't got you ain't married to him. He lives there, and it's none of your business for you to worry about who Ridge is taking to his room.
As many people that live in Eric's GCAC, like it shouldn't be nothing. She
Right.
can. It's big enough to go about her business.
Right. So, yeah, Donna, go take several seats. All right, who's the star of the week on YNR?
Uh, I'm gonna give it to the new actor who plays Damian, for the
Mm-hmm.
simple fact that he is just fine.
You're right.
Uh, like that's star worthy in my opinion. He looked good. I cannot wait till you guys see the shirtless scenes with this man.
Girl, shoot. And if the rumors are true that they going with Lily, I'll be okay with that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, what about for Bold? Who's the star? I give it to Daphne. Mario Hilaire. What's her name? Maria Hilaire. Something like that.
Yeah, she
Muriel.
knew we talked about her. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Marion.
Hilaire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show. Beautiful woman. Um, fantastic entrance. Well, for me, I think it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to give it a little bit to Catherine Kelly Lang because this woman knows how to cry on cue.
Yes, she does. I agree with you on that.
See, this is some expert like acting. Like I always loved how she and like Heather Tom, they were just able to, and also Melissa Claire Egan on YNR, they're able to just cry and be emotional at a moment's notice, like it's nothing. So well done.
Yeah. Pickle of the week, Young.
I'll give it to Ian. Like he is. Now this man is overly This is overly confident, in my opinion. He walking around knowing he has all these enemies, and it was easy for Victor to find them to the point where they're popping up over at the hotel, and he is just walking around, just like putting himself, you know, at risk of being unalived.
Mm-hmm.
Because he thinks he's playing everything out so well.
Yep. I agree. Um, Star of the week. Star of the week. Eh. I just give it to Melody because she looked really good. I like her new hairstyle, her dress. So Melody rocked out with her new do.
And she looked like she ready to break dance. Look at that picture.
Girl, you silly. You silly.
Resolution.
Mm-hmm. Oh, anyway, I'm talking about star of the week. Yeah, but Pickle, I'm gonna give it to Kyle.
Yes.
Yep, Kyle. What about Pickle for Bold?
I'll give it to Ridge, actually, this go around, because this man is going to end up breaking Taylor's heart. Granted, she deserves it because she knew better. I mean, she has a whole heart condition, allegedly, but he's quick to complain, but I don't see him coming with any plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Except for like plans for dinner. He's able to make a dress for Taylor and take her upstairs. So he can plan to get laid, but can't plan on how to get his company back. And he wants for Steffy to do what she does, and he'll just wait until she reports back. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's kind of lazy at this point.
Yep. 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 Okay. Um, I'm trying to think. Who would I give it to? Pickle of the week. Pickle of the week. Because Ridge really summed it up. I mean, I'm trying to think. I guess. Well, no, because Luna was playing her role pretty good. I give it to Bill because he being stupid.
Right.
Bill is that whole thing is just stupid. You bring that woman that unalive two people into your house and say, "Oh, by the way, can't nobody know that you here." Okay.
And have a conversation on the couch. That was so irritating.
Right. You don't want nobody to know where she is or that she lives there. Much as folks walk in and out of people's houses on this show, and you like you
Mm-hmm.
just said, they sitting on the front room on the in the front room on the couch. Please,
Like
yeah,
it's
he gets
nothing.
that one because it's like you being real stupid. And then a Simp Olympics on both shows.
Mm, I guess I'm gonna give it to Nick. Um,
Mhm.
because he has not cared or thought about his job not once.
Mhm.
Um, but he's going hard in the paint and confronting a dangerous criminal like it's nothing. Like, okay, well, he's earned it this title. He knocked Carter off for a second week in a row.
Right. Cause I mean, that man. He even told Victor, I really with everything's going on, I really can't focus on Newman right now. He was like, no problem. And then,
Mm-hmm.
oh, cause oh no, I'm sorry, Michael is the simp this week too.
Oh yes.
This
Oh, I completely
man,
forgot about him.
yeah, I forgot about him. This man, Victor, Victor keep telling him what to do, and this man is like, okay, I don't want to do it, but how high?
I'll never understand why this man hasn't walked away from Victor yet. I mean, he can be mad about Phyllis not, accepting him working for Sharon, but you would think Michael would be more upset with the fact that he'd been in jail because of this man. He'd been putting himself in criminal,
Mm,
predicaments because of this man. And I'm like, the money can't be that good. I mean, after 20 years, he should have like a nice little chunk of change
right,
from Victor.
right.
And on top of that, his wife has her own empire. So he ain't hurting for money. Why is he putting himself in this position
Right.
again?
Again. Yeah, make that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I was like, I knew it was somebody. When I watched that episode, I'm like, oh, yeah, he gonna get it. And then we forgot to talk about him. And then just when I looked at that picture, because we were talking about Nick, and Nick go running on after Ian, and Victor was like, yeah, go let him do it. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know your son is about to crash out. And he was like, yeah, I know. Let him go ahead. And
That's what
then,
he does best.
right. And then Michael is like, well, you do know, I did just verify that Ian does have a letter in with the police that if something happened to him, then it's gonna be the Newmans. And Victor's like, I don't care.
This man owns the police by now.
Right.
I mean, so he Victor doesn't care about a threat. This is the same man who had like a whole prison cell in his house.
Oh
Like he
man.
he, he will gladly lock a criminal without
Right.
question.
Girl, and Michael just keep doing it. He gets mad. He talks about why Victor shouldn't do these things because of the fact that it's going to blow up in his face. And then you turn around and do it anyway. You might as well save yourself the aggravation and just go do it. Because you're going to do it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what does Lauren see in this man, because she barely really sees her husband as much because he's always doing one of Victor's tasks.
Oh,
And
we forgot about another piece too. Cole and that job.
uh, oh, Shaggy. That is right. That happened on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So Victoria wants him to accept the job, and he listed out every single reason as to why it would be a terrible idea, and he knows what it's like to be on Victor's bad side. So he's like, why
Mm-hmm.
get involved with it at all? And if there's any woman who loves a toxic relationship, it is Victoria, and she will accept what anything that her daddy does.
Yep.
This is why she's always been with the toxic man.
Yep. That, and actually I gotta agree with Cole. Cole is like, yeah, I know that dealing with working for Victor, I'm cooked. You are owned by that man.
Mm-hmm.
JT, Billy, who else? Ashlyn Locke. I'm trying to think who else. Nate got
Nate
caught
was
up
with
in it.
her.
Yeah. It's like, at what point do you not see your predecessors and say, I don't think I want to be a part of that? And even Chance with her sister. Chance had to get up out of
Yeah.
that heat. And he had a brief little stint dealing with Summer.
Yep. Exactly.
You know,
It's
so
like
go ahead.
he's not a dumb man. That's why I'm hoping that they put Shaggy over with Ashley, because they have more chemistry. I actually loved Cole and Ashley together at one point, but if he wants to break away from Victor, I guess get with Victor's baby mama, and not his daughter.
I mean, but for Victoria to say, "Oh well, if you just do it, and then if you don't, it don't work out, you can quit." You don't know your father, right?
No, she knows him. She just choosing to be delusional.
Yeah, girl, please. I'm sitting up there like, okay, Victoria, you gonna throw this man in the trenches who really don't want to go, and I don't blame her.
And she listed off how Victor was toxic and mistreated her. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, you don't want to think about the bad things. Focus on the good things.
Yeah, well, if he would
Uh,
treat his own kids a certain way, he don't think twice. Look what he just did to Kyle.
exactly. Egg prime reason. This was this year or like early last year. Let me
That's
say
your
that.
daughter's boyfriend. You had a front row seat to that nonsense.
Exactly. And his daughter's mixed up with this mess. Like,
Right.
why does Victoria want all the men that she with to work with her daddy at some capacity?
Oh, I don't know. It's just crazy. Well, but yeah. So I forgot that we did not talk about that part. But yeah, there you go. But in regards to Michael,
Scooby Dooby Doo.
yeah, you so funny. Michael gets that Simp award alongside Nicholas. So that's my
Yes.
choice because Michael get on. I'm like, dude, how you were in a Peruvian prison? This man had to. You begged this man to get back in his good graces for keeping him out of trouble with Jordan. Now, when he finds out that Jordan is out, you know who he's gonna blame.
Oh, yeah. Without question. I
Victor's
have
gonna be
never
like, "This
seen.
is your fault."
And he is a professional lapdog. This is
Mm-hmm.
why I said just because you have a degree does not mean that you're smart.
Yeah, that girl, that's insane. All right, I think we covered everything, and we had a good show today. Make sure you guys follow us and make sure you subscribe to the channel. The links to the mugs are still pinned there, so if you want to go ahead and grab one, your Team Steph or your Team Hope, That's the links. And also, stay tuned for the spoilers for the week of the 13th through the 17th. We are already headed into the middle of January. We just said Happy New Year.
Yes, but you know what? It's okay because we're inching closer to Beyond the Gates. Yay!
Yes, Beyond the Gates come out next month. I'm excited. I can't wait to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, anyway. All right, you guys. Until then, we will see you guys later. And bye, guys.
Bye, Sophies.